Oddly enough, man, and hey, what's going on? That song though, it becomes a cue. It really has become like a cue in the ear there. While kind of waiting to be kind of like, all right, it's time. How are you, homie? You are on mute, my good friend. What a rookie mistake. Oh gosh.
Man, starting off on a bad foot. Holy shit. So we'll just skip all that I just said. Didn't matter anyways. 8-Bit Mike's Super Terrible programming note for you. We had Super Terrible scheduled to come on next week. I saw the size of the poster for the Shrek show and thought, holy shit, you maniacs. There's a lot of people in that show, way more than I anticipated. And I don't know why that was. So we have moved out Super Terrible. They are booked up for the next couple weeks. And so I believe December the 12th is when they will be coming on. Slightly adrift, dude. Underrated banger of a collection. I mean, in the land they live on or where they take their pictures from, absolute beautiful. I don't know where that's at, but it's amazing.
Hey, I know you're doing intros right now. I just popped this jar open though. You got to see this nug, man. This fucking. I know this isn't what we're normally about, but look at this stanker, my dude. Look, okay, I gotta look at the size of this dude. Just one big old stanky. And okay, so this is what I would normally refer to as called an ogre toe. So basically, it's doing what's called foxtailing right now in the genetics, and that's usually when you've fucked things over in order to try and get some really nice good genetics. So you're really fucking pushing things, but this thing's the size of probably a has-been toy ET.
What a great reference! What a great reference! That's nice. That's nice.
It's
what strain would that be there, Sir Crumbs?
This is Frosted Flakes. So it's actually going to be a cross of Mac 1 and what's the other guy hanging out in there? It's a Mac 1 crossed with cereal milk. There we go.
I was just going to say, since it was cereal, is there some cereal milk in there?
Sorry, dude. I had to pop it. I was looking at this nugget. I was just like, holy shit, this thing is fucking nice, dude. I got to show it before I snap it. Anyways.
Nice. That was a really good reference. Let's just finish with the intros just real quick. Slightly adrift, like I was saying, Killer Collection. Lynn's the Rat Boy. Zemitko Von Fake Name. How you doing? Max, what's up? David Dunn. Hobo Toys. Mr. Ordinary. Still one left in the shop. Go get it. What less long? Dre, what's up? Pikmin, what's up? Salsa, what's up? Clement, what's up? Porpoise, Neckrath, Jazz Wizzy, Bliss Receptor. Man, what is up, everybody? DT O'Keefe, Ashley Alvarado, what is going on? Yuckamuck is also in the house. O'Keefe, Phantom Lake Press with the rare sighting the other day, my friend. If you haven't seen that, good to see you since last February, my man. That was very cool. I am looking forward to that piece at Decon with Death and Strawberries. That's a banger.
Absolute banger, man. I think for many of us, and you know what, there's so many reference points for Dragon Inn right now that we're going to get to either later or and everything else, but that collaboration between them is one that I know that Death and Strawberries has been kind of picking at for a while, man. They've had that on the back burner for a bit, so for them to wrap that up, the freaking whole thing, I was fortunate enough to watch, and now you guys went live. But yeah, Death and Strawberries the other night was even kind of showing me everything, the way it all folds out, the instruction booklet for it, the 3D-ness of the quite the packaging bundle, my dude.
It is. The packaging, the figure's spectacular. The packaging is just awesome. Let's just take a moment real quick to recognize something in the house. You'll see attached to my hat here. That's a Has Been Toys pin right there. Has Been Toys. Colin. Behind me is just about every release that Has Been Toys ever had. Bam. You guys probably all saw the announcement the last couple of days that Colin has said, hey, I'm still going to be around. I'm just not making toys anymore. Which, you know what, man, as much as I want to say that's a bummer, if that's what Colin's feeling right now, man, that's what Colin's feeling right now. Good for him. There is not people that actually come out and say that, hey, this is kind of coming to a closure. I think sometimes people just tail off. Colin goes way back, dude. I remember when I first met Colin, and I met Colin just kind of going back and forth in a live chat when Abe from Toys on Tap. This was before Toys on Tap. He used to do those little trivia nights sometimes. I don't know if you remember that, but you could win prizes and figures and shit like that. And Colin was always in there, dude. And we really started talking just about collecting. And then before you know it, he was making toys. And for whatever reason, man, I even posted about this, is that he had just an uncanny way of making pieces that seemed to resonate with myself and my childhood and where I was from. And that was always really strange to me, but I always loved his pieces, and he is such a good dude. When we had him on the show, man, I think you referred to him as the fucking James Dean of the scene, man. I remember we picked up we showed that picture of him on his motorcycle. And he's just a good dude, man, straight from the heart of America right there in Wisconsin. But he's just like a lot of the rest of us, man. He's got a family, he's got children, he's got a job. This is definitely not the main source of income, obviously, for the majority of us, right? But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I just wanted to recognize that dude because I think, in the early days of the show, it kind of was like an in-house joke that if there was a giveaway, Colin was probably going to win it. The Wheel loved Colin back in the day, man. That was so funny. It was a given that dude was going to win once a month for sure. But dude, I always smile at those pieces that I get from him, the shows that he did, and just a fucking awesome dude. If he comes back someday, man, that would be nothing short of epic. But just the fact that he's going to stick around, I think is enough for me, man.
I think and that's what's tough. I think with most of these folks, art is in their blood. There's a reason that they were so attracted to it in the first place. They'll do it again. But I do think you kind of nailed it, man. I think personally, it's very easy for me sometimes to kind of be like, oh, well, you'll still keep on making, or like, well, why do you have to necessarily give it up? Just kind of really slower. But you nailed it, man. I'm in the luxury. I don't have a wife and kids. So that makes a very large difference, I think, for a lot of folks. Art really does cost money to make. And even like it's something that we even acknowledge, like when a collector becomes more of an artist and starts like making pieces, the amount they're typically buying from other artists typically kind of thins out a bit, because the same money that they would have spent before on buying pieces is potentially now getting to cut in half in order to make their own stuff. So it's a tough one, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to say about it, man. It's like I said, it's cool that he's sticking around. I did message with him back and forth a little bit today, and I said, look, man, we'll all be there at some point. You know what I mean? Whether we like it or not, we'll get there at some point where we just, there's going to come a time, man, where we sign off and say, this is it, and we're going to move on to other parts of our lives. I don't think for you or me that's anytime soon. But the fact that he's going to be still, part of it, hanging around. Like I said, man, he's a great dude to have on your team. Barrio Boba, what's up, man? Can we back up there for a minute? I think you said, fortunately, I'm not married and don't have kids. Is that what you said? I think you said fortunately.
I don't even know if I snuck that fortunately in there. My bad. Sorry, man.
I think you did.
Shit. Sorry, guys.
I'm not saying you're wrong for saying that, but that's the talk of a single man right there who's just like, you know what? I'm fucking glad I'm not like the rest of you guys. Holy shit.
Yeah, well, yes and no. Fuck. The guy's an asshole. What's his name? Bukowski. He has like one of those like really famous ones. It's even recently been trailing around every now and then on like Instagram or TikTok with sappy, sad music and like a beautiful background or whatever, where it'll be like, and when you go to bed every night alone and nobody says I love you, and you wake up in the morning with nobody wondering how you're doing, are you free or alone? And it's like, yeah,
yeah,
grass is always greener. Sure.
Yeah,
I can laugh at all you guys when I don't have to worry about taking care of kids because I can just buy toys. But you know, you can make fun of me when you're holding your wives at bed and I'm in my race car bed.
Or how do you know I don't have a race car bed? You don't know that.
I hope you have a race car bed. I think Rokomashu actually caught the Simpsons reference there potentially. Which we've got a fantastic fucking guest this evening, man. This guy came out of nowhere, and there was no like, hey, I'm curious about this toy making thing. It was suddenly just kind of like, yo, check it out. I'm making fucking 5.5 figures good enough that LM9 is buying them. What up?
You know what I think is really funny, dude, is we go back to his first post, which is in January of this year. And then you start reading through some of his posts, which I read through every single one of them. And you realize that this has been going on way longer than 2024, which is very cool, man. This goes back close to 10 years, you know, from what I gather. And it could even be longer than that. He did even make some comments about kind of collecting parts throughout his life for pieces that would look dope on other things. So we'll talk about that too. That'll be cool.
I feel like a freaking noob and a half. Normally, I like to scroll back and take a look all the way back, but you're saying 10 years, and I have not scrolled that far back.
Oh, no. I'm saying his first post was January of this year, but
right,
in his comments and his stories and some of his posts from this year,
we'll find out.
He talks about times that we're going back. So
we're going to find out. Plus,
we should probably have him on the show and talk to him about it.
I don't often see one trick in the old chatteroo there either, man. That's a
was he in there?
I'm not going to give away their all bat name because if you didn't catch it, you didn't catch it. But yeah.
All right. I'm just kind of looking around here.
We'll negotiate later.
Anyways, yeah. Well, if Max is in the house, everybody loves Max. I love Max. Saturday. Let's talk about Saturday real quick. Saturday, I will be at Decon. I think we're going to do a live from there. We talked about it just briefly before we jumped on the air here. I don't know what that's going to look like or what time or whatever. I know I'll be there all day and we'll do something at some point, and that'll be cool. That's it. That's all I got. God, jealous, dude. I see that big. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Jealous, man. Fletcher, what's happening, dude?
You know, actually, too, I was talking to Dustin Strawberries the other day, only because you're going to be in Decon. Look at this fucking madman sent over, dude. 3 fucking bags of wax.
Nice.
So definitely, if you guys see him at Decon, make sure to get some wax building kits. Hey, you want to pull Rokomashu in and we'll shut the fuck up and get this show on the road?
Might as well.
What is up? How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm outrageously excited. I hope I'm going to be okay. This is a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun.
I had to full screen you for a moment because I'm sorry. Between the sick chair and all the toys and the sick hat.
Yeah. I'm wearing this hat because during the C is for Creature rundown, I overheard Tone Twisted Tiger making references to my hat, and you know, it's a cool hat. It's easy to see that this is a very cool hat. But he was talking about maybe providing me with a sort of a sack beating in order for him to get his hat from me. So I thought I'd wear it tonight in case he gets a chance to have a look at the show. He'll know that, come on up to Canada. I'll make you some pierogies, and if you can find a sack big enough, you can have a go at the hat, bro.
Oh man.
Roko, if you've got your YouTube rolling, do you mind just muting YouTube and/or turning down your volume a slight little smidgen?
Me? I'm using a something. I don't know volume. Maybe I'll see if I can do it right here. How's that? Did that do something?
That
that
might
help?
have helped. That might have helped. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I had to, use a lot of gaff tape and like chewing gum from under the table to put this together to join you guys. So I'm glad that we're still connected and things are working out.
Super appreciate you joining, man, and making that work for it.
Dude, let's get down to business, man. How are you?
How are you? I'm good. I'm super thrilled. It's been a crazy toy time for me since I started to share what I'm up to. It's been just wonderful, and having a good time, doing lots of things.
And you're in where?
Being really inspired. I am in Vancouver, Canada.
Vancouver,
British Columbia.
Gotcha. So like I was telling Crumbs, man, I was going through your feed, and it looks like you just started posting on this account back in January of this year. But going through some of your bio stuff and some of your posts, it looks like this has been going on way longer than that. You had made a comment in one of your posts that you've kind of been collecting stuff your whole life and just kind of throwing it together. But the first thing that I really came across, it seemed like it was around maybe 16, 17, something like that.
I had made it kind of I was working a job, and I had been tired of it for a long time, and recently taken a break from the job, and in going back, I was like, you know what, I'm going to be done with this job, and I'm going to follow my artistic pursuits, and maybe start a graphics company, or maybe just get free with art and see what kind of work I can find doing that. And I have an interest in art, and I like all kinds of art. The thing I've been doing all my life is hacking toys since I was a kid. And so I kind of said, I'm going to do this thing that I'm really into, and I really don't have an explanation for why I'm into it. I'm just going to really go with the spark. And long story short, here I am. But in 2016, 2017, I was on discovering it on Facebook, and I was discovering. I'm sharing in like my limited social circle. I wasn't, didn't have anything public to share at that time, and I was seeing people who were really passionate about toys. Of course, I'm aware of toy collecting, and indie toys, but I'm being introduced to figures from Frank Russo, Musculoids, and Chance Priest, Warriors of the Universe. These guys have, freaking empires now of toy art. And I was, hacking 12-inch action figures, just out of inspiration and pleasure and habit, and creating characters that way. And it was conversations with those guys who said, yeah, I did that too. I do all kinds of art, but it seemed that they were doing 5.5, which was still very popular at that time.
Sure.
And so I thought, well, what the heck? I'll jump on that and see what happens, because it could take a week to scratch build a Phantom Zero in 12-inch, and find all the parts and create them or whatever you got to do. And sure, 10 years later, yeah, I can make one in a day now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Molding and casting way faster 10 years later. Yeah. But it's been great. It's super cool. Lots of fun.
The other guy that I saw you reference to, man, besides Musculoids, was Cosmo Toys. I know that there was I know that there was a Frankenstein figure in there. We'll get into Frankenstein in a minute, man. I'm super curious to see what the fascination with Frankenstein is. But around that time, man, there was that was before. I didn't really start messing around in here until about 2020. So 2016, 2017, that was before my time. But what is it? Where did you actually find those guys? Did you find those guys on Instagram?
On Facebook. I wasn't I was, just on Facebook as a kind of a, open the window and yell something stupid kind of a thing for me and my pals. And then I started getting, I was on there for 10 years, incidentally, entertaining my friends and I. But when I started getting into toys, I didn't want the mix of what I was doing with toys to be in my social life. And that made me leave social media. And I said, I'll come back and do something later when I have a body of work and my characters have got a bit of a line and things like that.
Gotcha.
Now,
is that same line that you're still working on today?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lost Barbarians and tying in everything, the Lost Barbarians universe.
Yeah, that's so that.
With that.
Now back in, gosh, what was it? Yeah, right after, I guess it was like your second post here, man. You did Phantom Zero, and not only you did the figure, you did the figure with a T-shirt and a trading card.
Yeah.
To me, it's super crazy to see, someone's first drop, something of that magnitude with the different pieces, and they're so dang good. Now, are these the first copies that you made and tried to sell, or is that just the first one that you had on Instagram?
Phantom Zero is the first. Like, I sold a few in the neighborhood and to some people incidentally, and gave Phantom Zero and early Tiger Corps, for a few years. Hey, I made this. I got my packages together about 3 years ago, and things like that, and made my trading cards, and I was ready for 4 characters in the line, and had created the molds. I'd done my testing, and I got things standing on the shelf, and I'm like, okay, let's go. And I'm like, let's have a T-shirt.
Yeah,
let's do that. And it was a fun project with the packaging. The T-shirt was a fun project I did with my daughter. She did some drawing, and she drew the T-shirt guy, and then I kind of fooled around with it, vectorized it, and made a T-shirt out of it. And I thought it'd be nice to have a little something to start with, some product. The whole reason why I went kind of pulled back to get into production in the first place. Let's start with something, and then we'll show process after we've kind of got something that sits on the shelf.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. So let's go back to the Frankenstein, man. You referenced Frankenstein, more than a few times in some of those earlier.
It's
and it seems like even with like the Musculoids and some of those other ones, there was that, that was actually Victory Comics that you had got the blanks from, and you put the Frankenstein head. What is it about Frankenstein?
Well, he's kind of a. It's a beautiful story. It's an incredible story. How we love to. We need to blame somebody, and we can't take responsibility for for power and stuff like that. It's just a wonderful story that way. But also, the guy is literally like raised from the dead and slapped together, and handed all this responsibility. And I've always kind of felt that way myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't. Hey, I didn't. I don't know. The injustice of being a creature, and the idea of a toy like Frankenstein is that's fractal, man. That's like we're gonna chop up the chopped up guy. So,
yeah,
it's that kind of thing.
What's your background, dude? I mean, I know that sounds kind of. What's your background? I know that sounds kind of like it's a kind of a large question, but what is your background?
I'm I'm like a kind of a bohemian rock and roll guy. Like I've been like a punk rock and a garage rocker for most of my life, and like I say, I always hacked toys, and I've always kind of been a sort of a dropout, kind of fringe dwelling sort of a character. And a long time ago, there was this lowbrow art movement, with all the monsters and the hot chicks and the purple and the green and the flame jobs on everything and all of that stuff. And I find myself like, wow, that's great. Oh, now you can't walk away from it. Now you can't get away from it. So I kind of like to stay on the fringe. I dig the underground. I like stuff that's fresh. I like where people are breaking the old and making the new. And I like local music and culture, and this toy community is like local, global. It's incredible. I got locally. There's not a lot. There's James, Mr. Von Fake Name. There's a couple of collectors. I mean, we can get into the local stuff. I know that we're going to digress.
Yeah. No, I mean that's a good starting point, man, for the local scene. I mean, from what I gather, you're not only putting up displays, but for instance, your show that you had down at just a barbershop with you and Von Fake Name. The show was basically what you were trying to do is just expose people to that scene, and just from your commentary and your posts, it's kind of like, hey, I'm going to go set up and just kind of see what happens. Number one, what led you to do that, and then how did that turn out at this specific event?
Well, it's just the inspiration of being involved in the Instagram toy community. And seeing people do things locally, and watching, looking around and seeing a lot of local art and markets happen here, but I'm not catching any toy stuff. I'm catching all kinds of great, crazy crap all over the place. People are makers and they're collectors and they're making art, and everybody's doing the thing. And I'm like, I wonder if, we can see if people are interested in toy art, or do they know about it, or, so one of the things that happened when, having a little venue like that, some friends of mine run a barbershop, but they've got a large mezzanine, and then you walk down a couple of steps to the chairs and the stations, and they hang art on the walls, and they do a podcast. They'll have a band in there.
Oh, sweet.
And I'm like, guys, I make art. Let's do it. They're like, yeah, let's do that. So in just going up, it's, up the road from my house. So very easy to do. And setting it up, while I was setting up on the second day, a guy came in. And I'm in the doorway of a barbershop. I'm like, oh, did you come for a haircut, buddy? Howdy doodles. Hello. Did you come for a haircut? Because I'm in the way of everything, and I don't know people know there's a show. So I'm like, doodle doo. Have a stroll through here. And he's like, no. I saw your poster. I'm a toy collector. I'm like, oh, job done. Like, wow. I met somebody who had interest.
Sure.
Outside of my social circle, where my friends, wonderful folks who are like, you go for it, man. Those are cool things. They have little or no investment in toy art, other than that, they know a guy that does it.
Yeah, exactly, man. When someone comes up to you and approaches you in a situation like that, how do you go about explaining to them what this is? As far as, it's toy art. Yeah, you could probably play with it. Is it intended to be played with? I don't know. I mean, I guess it probably depends on, the maker and what it is. But how do you go about explaining that to somebody who is just completely clueless about what's going on here?
Well, I had the wonderful pleasure of an acquaintance of mine showing up with his 2 young sons when we were at the barbershop. And he's like, "Oh, how about this stuff?" Right. And his youngest son was like, I'm not making it up. Daddy, buy me that. No, buy me that. No, buy me that. Right. And he, he's like, okay, we're talking about this stuff. Take it easy, And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, kid. Yes, Dad, buy all of it, So, he walked out of there with a tiger corpse and an accessory pack. I explained there's paint on it, don't chew on it. It's, if it breaks, I'm a novice. I'll give you a new one. If it breaks, something breaks, you're trying to play with it. I got a text later. Hey, we've had him in and out of beast mode like 5 times, no problem. Super fun, great, thanks, buddy. And I'm like, what's to explain? I don't know, but I hear what you're saying. At the second, when I was at the comic and toy show, a kid, grabbed a whole bunch of stuff on the table. It was like, oh, I want this and I want this, and I'm like, well, you can have a free spider or a skull here if you want, but if you want any of these other things, your mom has to give me some money. So the mom was like, doesn't miss a beat. How much is the thing he wants? I'm like, it's $30, but it's got paint on it and glue. Okay, so it's not a, so, and if it falls apart, I come and see me. They're like, well, okay, great, whatever. And the kid ran away laughing and giggling, and I had $30. This is a weird world, but what a better world. I couldn't imagine in those moments.
Very true, dude. Before I forget, how do you pronounce your name?
Well, it's rip-off, knockoff, mashup, but I can't seem to pronounce Rokomashu, so I say Rokomashu.
Rokomashu. Perfect. We had a couple people in the comments in the giveaway ask about how you pronounce that. But so let's go back to what we were just talking about. So given that you see a kid come in and you know that they're going to like legitimately be playing with it, whereas if someone like myself bought it, I would just put it on display and probably never touch it except for when I'm taking pictures of it. When you see kids and they get that enjoyment out of playing with it, does it make you modify your the way that you put things together? Do you have that in mind that like, hey, I need to make this super durable because there's going to be a kid playing with this possibly and I don't want it to break?
Well, I'm essentially prototyping right now.
Okay.
And I'm using materials that I'm comfortable with, and they're not necessarily like, and I'll say this to anybody who has anything, any Lost Barbarians or anything that I've made, I'm making it at home. I'm trying to figure it out. If you've got a Phantom Zero and you're like, okay, I'm going to take the legs off. Oh, geez, it broke. Well, I'll sort you out because I'm not sure of what I'm doing, right? And for the most part, I test them a little bit and they feel good and they look good, but I don't know what's going to happen. But durability is a big part of it. I want to get as close to a toy box toy as I can, but we all love shelf pops, right? We're all kind of grown up and they look really good, and you take them out, you put them down, and you can imagine the whole thing. You can play with it a little bit. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I do think of things like when I put the Muscle Creeps together for Wrestling Toy Federation, I was like, this is going to be really simple and something that you could throw around. Paint's not going to rub off. I'm just learning about paint, so that kind of stuff. It does inform it. There you go.
Yeah, this is the Muscle Creeps, and this is, man, you can tell this is super, super, no paint on it. But I mean the cast, look at that. Super, super nice.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's solid, man. And it's got the it comes with what, 1, 2, 3, 3 or 4.
It's a 4-character.
4 cards in there. Yeah. 6. So that'll be up for grabs tonight. But yeah, you're right, dude. That is the super durable character. And I don't know why I wasn't showing this one. I have one in front of me like an idiot, and I'm sitting here not showing it. But that is awesome.
Those things look bigger than a 5.5.
Yeah, it's there. I mean, I'd say I'd have to put it up next to one to see exactly what it is. I think the head definitely makes it look a little bit taller. But I really,
yeah, it's like six something.
six.
I was customizing the legs. It's my I'm married to these molds because I well, at least for a while until I come up with a new sculpt. You know, I want to see if I can launch the whole, have 8 characters in the Lost Barbarians line, which just means I have 8 heads.
Yeah.
And, you know, 4 molds, I have 2 of each head so that I can produce them in, you know, in the course of a week, I can come up with a number of them.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the other thing that I like about this is the cape, dude. That cape style to me, anytime I see that cape style, it reminds me of Dark Rainbow on his pieces. And they have kind of that same kind of Mexican vibe to them for whatever reason, but that's a sharp cape, but I love that.
Yeah, they're definitely Mexican bootleg, you know, influence for sure. And like I recognized when I first saw Dark Rainbow stuff, you know, I made a loaf in my pants, and I was like, what kind of world is this? I don't understand. And you know, he's just a guy. He makes toys, right? And that's so cool. But it was just it's so exciting, you know. It was just like, what? Wait a minute, what's going on here? You know, you see his like Lord God character. Then the next thing you see, like, check back in, and he's doing the Sesame Street, and all bets are off.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's crazy to see, you know, his stuff. Yeah, I mean, like you said, dude, that's the thing that I think is funny is, you know, you buy pieces from these guys and you see their posts and stuff, even yourself included, and then you talk to them and you're just like, yeah, he's just a guy. You know what I mean? He's another artist that does really, really cool shit. And that's one thing that I think I like about the community in general is that you start talking to people and the access is so good to reach out and talk to somebody. And then once you start
the community, it's huge, and it's just so easygoing. And when I showed up, it reminded me of like when I was a teenager and I was, you know, battling somebody for a style of music, you know, and territory and all this junk, and then all of a sudden there was this punk scene, and none of that had any bearing on anything. You know, you came to play, you get on the stage, you came to see it, go grab a beer. You know, it was just like, hey, it's so easy. You know, your band needs to make T-shirts. Well, here's how you make a T-shirt. You know,
right,
that kind of stuff. I found the same thing. Like when I showed up, there was, you know, anything that like people were interested right away. And I could see why, because I was interested right away. I was like, oh, what the heck is that? What's going on there? You know, just following little by little and connecting with some characters that have been a real inspiration and leading me to find that is a ubiquitous quality within the community for the most part. You know, anybody will share, and discovering, like, you know, you get the depths of people's passion from their work. As a person who's involved in it, you can see, okay, they're really, really, really digging on this, and they're really going for something here. And then you stumble across what you guys are doing here, and listening to you and Crumbs talk about this, and you realize that this is a new art form that is going on, that you know, is really, really interesting, and it makes me really happy to discover the fringes of something at my age, and after all of the rock and roll zeitgeists I've seen in whatever towns in my country and globally.
Sure.
That there still is a, you know, there still is this kind of culture where somewhere in a room somewhere somebody is doing something, trying to make something out of their brain, you know, for like no real reason.
Yeah, man, it's an interesting thing, right? How it can be such a worldwide thing, and you know, I think even all across the world, it doesn't matter, you know, what country that you're in. I think it's kind of getting more and more recognized as an art form, and it's interesting, man. It's interesting how it's one of those things that it kind of, it carries across. countries and languages. I mean, there's so many different people from so many different places, and we're all kind of here for the same thing, which is, I don't know, man. I don't know if there's a lot of people say that about. I know that there's communities all over the place, but this sure is a cool one. Going back to the music, and let's start talking about. I saw a commission that you did for a group called the Dead Zones in what was it, 2000? It looks like you did the figure in 2018. And then their album came out in 2019. That figure that was on there was absolutely amazing. How did they end up reaching out to you and saying, hey, why don't you make something for us?
That's a cool story. Well, I was I play in bands, and at that time I was playing a band with my buddy Penny. We had a guitar and drums duo here in Vancouver called Invisible Ray. I played guitar and sang, and she played the drums, and we played a show with a couple of bands, and one of those bands was these guys, the Dead Zones. And we were like, hey, those guys were a cool band. And maybe we played a couple more shows, and we saw each other's bands a few more times, and kind of hung out. And in being a fan of their band, we talked about other things that we're into, and they were into action figures, and they wanted to come over and see what I did. And I'm like, well, heck yeah, come on over. And then they were like, okay, we need you to make us one of these type of guys that you're making here for our record. And we've got some parts, and we're going to bring them over. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Bring me your parts and whatever else like for the toy and some other stuff if you're getting rid of it, and a box of beer, and we're good to go. Let's go. So that's a Captain America with all kind of things on it. Like this is Star Wars guy, hacked off all the legs, and then there's a Beetlejuice thing on the chest, and like a Halloween store skull with a beetle head and some light bright eyes, and where you go. And that's sort of, it turns into the basis of the figures for the Lords of Deafness. That was where Phantom Zero was going before I kind of abandoned that and went to 5.5.
Yeah, that's now what happened to that figure? Did they end up buying that from you, or was it just you?
I made it for the guys for the trade, for a box of beer and for for the parts that they gave me. And I'm still using the parts. I got like tons of all kinds of weapons and really neat little parts and little critters, and just fill the drawers with that kind of stuff, and chop it up whenever you need it. It's great.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So what came of that, man? Did that spawn off any other interest from any other groups or anything like that, or was that just kind of like a one-shot deal right there?
I think it's kind of a one-off. I mean, I have some interest for some friends in the local music scene to make some action figures. Maybe next year we'll get into some of that, a little bit of that, or making some kind of a toy or some kind of a character that represents the band. So people are interested in, because I'm going around and yapping about what I do. They're like, what are you into? And I'm like, well, I make toys when I'm not hanging around the local rock show or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? And now I have Instagram, and so there's people can go check it out. So there is a bit of interest that way, which is exciting. Again, getting out there, I found the local interest was greater than I anticipated, and same thing for the comic and toy show. I had, in terms of sales and just interest, like people just like, what the heck is this? What are you doing? And hearing me and being interested and being engaged and having fun with it. And people bought stuff and went home with it, and I was like, what? This is weird, but good.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I mean, there's the sales aspect of it, of course, but it seems like there's a really big want from you to try to just kind of push the scene forward locally in your own neighborhood, or even just in general. to get people to realize kind of what this is. Like you said, it's a
yeah. Well, there's I had been seeing posts and stories this year, and I can't remember who did it, but who exactly posted what where. But on more than one occasion, people are talking about action figure customization workshops at the community center, or I'm running a workshop at my friend's shared space or something like that. And I'm like, that's really inspiring to me, where, if I can stimulate things like that, like if people can get the bug, as it were, and see that it is kind of fun. It's a fun thing to do, and kind of a neat little way to make some art and express yourself, pass the time.
Yeah. For you, man, I mean,
right?
I think there's some people that would probably underline one aspect of it as something that keeps them coming back, whether it's nostalgia or just wanting to get better. What would you say for you? Because I look at like the whole body of your work from what I've seen, man, and you could say, oh yeah, he's a kit basher. But then when you start digging a little bit more, you're like, no, he does me too. And even doing the cards and the t-shirts, that's something else too. Now I'm starting to see stuff where you're starting to get into some original sculpt. I know that you were working on a piece there, the spider type creature. And
we're going to talk about that. Yeah, that's important. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I want to show that off, and that. Anyways, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just saying, man. For you, I mean, that's kind of a large question too. What is kind of the main thing for you? But if we want to get into the sculpting, we can get into that too, man. I know that is one of your wants, as far as a list of stuff to get better on and to work on in the immediate future.
Yeah.
Is sculpting, man. Let's talk about the sculpting.
Well, this will be a great segue into showing off the sculpt. But I'm a hacker, and so my sculpting is blending and clear coating and sanding and manipulating and adding and taking away. So I'm sculpting actual pieces of toys. Yeah, so I'm a bit of a cheater that way. I think I've got like 10 or 15,000 less strokes in a piece than a sculptor has, right?
Right.
If you're going to grab a piece of wax or a piece of clay, you're in for the long haul until you can't touch it anymore, and it's okay, or it's good enough anyway.
Yeah, no, I can hear you. I got to plug my computer in. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I have a friend, a friend of mine who helped me learn molding and casting. Is a sculptor. He's a professional sculptor, and he does a lot of work for film and television. And I'm like, during that process where he was helping me, I was like, I had this whole thing edited in my mind where, I don't need to do all that sculpting because I'm just going to take this tiger head and I'm going to put it over here. And I'm like,
sure. Yeah.
How do you make it out of rubber? And he's like, well, that's my secondary discipline because so he got me going, and a great pal and a wonderful craftsperson. And I learned a lot from him and got into it, researching beyond what he could teach me and learning a bit more about molding, casting. Sculpting is something that I want to do more of because you just have more control over the character. You can just bring it right out of your head. As much as I love chopping up toys, it still is my passion, but it'd be nice to just make some sculpts. And I learned a bunch on the character. I wanted to make a character for the Lost Barbarians with a head swap. Here's my camera.
Dude, that scale's way bigger than what I thought.
Well, the decrepitator, right, will creep and decapitate you. It has two heads. It'll swap your head with its, and off it goes, and you're the decrepitator, and it can run your body, right? So you got to look out for these kind of things, right? If you're in the Lost Barbarians universe. So it's scaled to the 5.5 kind of 6-inch guys that I make.
Gotcha. That makes sense, man.
And it's a grow octopus hacked up with some putty here. I've got to give this a clear coat, or I've got to give it a prime and see what blending needs doing. But and this has been a lot of fun. I wanted to make a goopy guy. You can kind of see he's sort of goopy, lava, slimy guy. I had a lot of fun with that, but I've decided that this sculpt is good enough. I was like, I'll come back in a year when I know how to sculpt a toy properly. And then I'm like, well, you'll never make one if you don't get it out there.
Yeah.
So I got this guy, and this is the eye that this is from Mattel Thingmaker, old timey toy, where you pour rubber goop into something and heat it up and make a thing. So this is the eyeball of the Decrepitator, and the most exciting thing about the Decrepitator right now is that Lynn's the Rat Boy, my cartoon buddy, is doing the header card for this.
Oh, man, that is awesome.
This will be coming out in the new year. He has shown me a couple of wonderful sketches, a wonderful drawing. I think we've got one we're going to go with. And so look out for the Decrepitator to, for your Lost Barbarians to battle in 2025. Lynn's the Rat Boy, header card. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Ashley Alvarado says gummy tentacles. That's exactly what I was thinking of. They look like those. They look like gummy worms.
Yeah. That's the attraction to me for this particular. Like I think I can cast it in a little translucent too, so I can keep that. It was like a real candy. That's why I grabbed it at the store. I'm like, this is a candy octopus. I will mess with this later.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah.
So would you consider that? I mean, because I had seen in your feed that you had done some sculpting kind of on top of some other pieces. But as far as like a fully sculpted piece, would you say that's your first attempt at a fully sculpted piece?
Yeah. I have a thing in a box called Space Wolf that I got to a stage and I put it away because same reason. I was like, I've gone this far. Let's come back to it and see, if I could do something better. But this is going to come out first because it's ready to go. All I have to do is get molding on it and then do some overseas mailing.
Yeah, right, exactly. Let's talk about your you got a collab going on with Gorilla Ghost 666, man. Tell me about that.
Gorilla Ghost 666, early fan, early toy homie, Gorilla Ghost 666 helped me he helped me be okay with being a fake Mexican bootlegger.
Yeah.
I come out, I haven't done it in a while. I've been, presenting as the toy artist for a while, but when Lost Barbarians come out, I get my little tube out, my cardboard tube, and I make a ring announcer Mexican voice into my phone, and I use, Spanglish and Gorilla. I'm like, I'm Anglo from Canada, and I'm doing this, and he's like, that's okay. It's bootleg tradition. It's okay. And the other Spanish-speaking fans that and other makers that I'm friends with, everybody's cool. And I'm like, that is great, because I thought maybe we were living in this age or we were in an arena where that would be misinterpreted as cultural appropriation, and I would be canceled.
Sure.
To be, faking a culture, but it's appreciated, and I'm really grateful for that. And it makes me feel like I'm within my, within good boundaries.
Absolutely, dude. I think that's important. That
I'm a respectful fake Mexican bootlegger.
Yeah, exactly, man. And the fact that other people are chiming in and saying, "Hey, man, this is cool," props to you for even thinking that would be an issue. But then for everybody, I mean, for me, it's
think about it,
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And I think you're exactly right, dude. And in this day and age, that is something that you should probably consider. But it does not surprise me one bit that guys like Gorilla Ghost 666 and other artists of that genre say, "Hey, man, that's cool." Like, not only are they dope, but it's you're doing it in a respectful way. I think it's great, dude. I mean, from your cards, your posts, and everything, it's definitely a complete package, dude. And you really get that, which honestly, dude, I think kind of adds to the mystery of you, right? Like, you're not very visible on the page. There's like one or two on there, and then you kind of line up your posts, and you're just like, man, this dude is a mystery wrapped in a riddle, dude. I cannot figure this dude out. And that is that kind of the goal, man? It's like
it's part of my inspiration to kind of to work with to have a professional dynamic, as it were, a public. When I'm working with the public, I'm throwing it out random, and I'm responding to people, and I don't want to take it personally. I'm not. It's just for sharing, and it's I find it helps when I can. Like, I love to perform. I love to, as part of creativity, to perform. I'm active in, I have a band. We played our first show a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
I like to do stuff, and when I can play the character, it really helps me like make my toys, and it helps me focus on everything. I know that I can go out there and front, I can just freely, I can talk about a C is for Creature toy show, and then we're speaking right now, and then if I just go ahead and go Rokomashu, bloody tiger zombie, people are not going to be freaked out. They're going to be like, good, that's what he does. He does that thing. That means he has toys, so.
Yeah.
To me, that's cool. It also ties in with the whole rip-off, knockoff, mashup concept, where how in the bigger picture, how am I creating this infinite world, right? The beauty of your favorite sci-fi and comic book stuff is how is this going on forever? How the heck is Star Trek still interesting? And maybe it isn't, and maybe it's not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But when you're a fan, you're like, it's still going, and I love this. And I remember from when I was a kid, this happened to this guy, and look, there he is again. That kind of stuff. So comic books and sci-fi, all all that bubblegum stuff.
Yeah, man. I think that's something that you could see. I mean, for me, from what I've seen over the years, I mean, there's artists who definitely jump from figure to figure, and then that's just kind of what it is, right? There's just a release of a figure, but to create a world and have figures within that world and keep on expanding on that and kind of keep that going and not let it die out and keep on adding figures and kind of refining what you have. That's a whole different thing, man. That's when you're really starting to get in there as far, and I'm not saying that if you don't do that, you're not creative, but creating a world like that where, and even for you, man, I mean, you even have a narrator type voice that comes over. I think your header cards really line up with it. Even the fonts and the pictures that you're using on there, everything lines up, man. That's killer. Was that the plan from the beginning, or was it just, I want to start making some figures? It seems like there was just kind of some knockoff on some larger scale stuff. But at what point did you say, man, I really want to make a whole another world with figures and then develop figures? Because that's a big undertaking. That's more than just making figures.
It kind of depends. Like it depends on your angle, right? Like my angle, like when I get the spark, like I'm like, this is an idea. I'm gonna light this on fire, and if there's anything left, I'm gonna take it to the shop. An idea. You're like, When that happens to be like what happens for some people, they're like, I'm going to make a sculpture. That's the idea, and they go to work, and the idea progresses and for me, when I get the idea, I'm like, Harrison Ford, I can't afford him for this. You know, how am I going to make the dragon? It goes, I go off, right? I'm like, phew. So I'm just trying to catch up, you know, with the concept. And the Lost Barbarians, creating Phantasma Zero is Phantasma Zero. I have to be clear here. Is that's my version. That's my version of Ogon Bato, Golden Bat, right from the 50s sci-fi, reputed to be like pre-Superman character.
Right.
Guy.
Sure.
So when I created the character visually, and I came up with the his head, I was like, this is a zombie of galactic justice, you know, like he is gonna. And then I was like, that's Golden Bat. That's what he does, you know. They drip some water on him, and he in the tomb, and he's like, let's get the bad guys.
Yeah.
And
what's nuts?
A skull guy. So
once you mention it, it's uncanny, the resemblance, especially in the head sculpt, man.
It's funny. I Phantom Zero is funny. I want to show off. If you guys don't mind, I want to show off the origin character of Phantom Zero right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see it.
Okay, so here this is my first Phantom Zero. He's a 12-inch character. I think he is a let's see, different guns, different hands for different guns. I can't remember who this guy is. You know, I demarvelized him and went to town and created Phantasma Zero.
That is awesome.
You know,
I saw you post that, and I was like, "Oh my!"
This is a vacuum, home vacuum Ken bubble, poured plaster into it, made a home vacuum thing, stuck it on over the Iron Man or wherever the heck this guy is, with putty, epoxy sculpt. Left his armbands on there. Maybe a kid could go, "Oh, it's Hawkeye from the 6th, version." I don't know. Kinniku Man, right? And then recovered binder, school 3-ring binder vinyl. I'm really excited about showing this off because the belt here is made with like bathtub silicone and acrylic paint with a press mold on a toilet paper tube.
No kidding, man.
And right here we have some kind of a dollar store rave toy finger light. And so you get a little red light on that. I built a blaster around that thing. Drywall plug, one of my favorite things for pumes.
Oh, nice.
And so here is this thing took a long time to figure out. This is a Halloween skull that I just painted up. Made a little neck for him so he can kind of turn a little bit.
Wow.
But this is a Ultraman with his face cut off. I made a slush mold of an Ultraman head and cut his face off and kind of ground out the rough slushes. And I played around with these pointy bits. They were a lot longer when I started, and I paired them off so they would be the longest, You could still get it on his head.
Oh, man.
So I made a couple of these. And these were the first, the guys. You can see his hand fell off when I picked him up, but
yeah.
I was going 12-inch, and I still love doing this. This is, this is fun. I like making these things. But now I can make 10 guys in a week if that's my thing. I'm like, hey, let's make some guys. Well, it'll take me a couple of days, a week to put one of those together. So that's Phantom Zero. Here's the this is the Ultraman figure, where that I cut his face off for the 5.5, right?
Mm.
You can see I did some trimming there. I filled the ear,
Right.
sanded, cut the nose off, fixed them up.
Nice.
And his face is a brass key ring. It had red, red little ruby hexagons in there. It was like a, brass skull. And I made a few degenerated copies of it until it looked bootleg enough to,
Wow. Damn, dude. Dude, you're doing more than just pouring resin, dude. You're doing a lot of crazy shit, man.
Yeah.
So let's just say that somebody wanted one of those big Phantom Zero figures. How would they go about doing that?
Well, you could. I'm happy to sell them. I have two here. They are essentially prototypes. So to sell these exact ones is a bit of my personal legacy.
Oh, sure.
I might not want to finish these ones and ever.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And leave the paint raw and just leave them alone forever. But I'm happy to make one.
Yeah.
I'm happy to make it. If somebody wanted to make one, I would make one. I love making the 12-inch customs. Of any of my characters or any of the existing ones that I have. I'm happy to have them have a new home. Yeah.
Sweet. And so you don't have a shop on your site. But is everything just DM, like if you see something, hit me up and let me know?
Yeah, shoot me a message, and I hope that in 2025 I do get store savvy. I've got to go through a little bit of a revolution with my online situation. I have since our band started playing music, and we have a record out now, and that's my third Instagram account. I'm also a pierogi hustler.
All right.
So, as you can't see it, but I have T-shirts with my phone number on. You can text me and buy pierogies in Vancouver, and I sell them at a couple of the local pubs.
I definitely eat pierogies like 3 days a week, man. I'm a
right on. Well, I don't know. I heard some kind of crazy talk about some sort of toy show, perhaps, I don't know, in Ontario or somewhere near. So if anything like that ever does happen, I'll make you some.
Dude,
I look forward to it.
This guy dropped a sentence about, in one sentence, he said how to get his toys. He just dropped an album, and he's a pierogi hustler. All in the same sentence, dude.
Yeah. Well, it's not so easy on Instagram or Facebook. I wish it was always that easy where I could just do it all in one sentence. But getting used to it.
So let me ask you this, man. Those are three extremely different venues there. How do you balance?
I find toys to be extremely rock and roll. Like, to me, toys and rock and roll are like very similar. Like,
yeah,
it's an expensive, heartbreaking hobby that get way less dates than you think you would.
Dude, what a great analogy that is, dude. Holy smokes, man. You're right. You're right. I think you're absolutely right, man. From people that I've, dude, I was trying to think who I could compare you to in the scene. The only dude that even comes close, I think, is Resin Blood, because you guys are, the music and the different styles of art, right? Is like, and even your paint, dude. Your paint is so good, man. On those figures that you did for Victory Comics, that paint, man, on both those figures are legit, dude. Those are super good. But the other stuff.
Well, thank you. But painting is my biggest struggle is colors and painting. Like, I can get the sculpt, and then I want to go home after that. But no, you got to come up with a colorway,
Yeah.
But a guy Resin Blood is on. I mean, that guy is manufacturing art like I think of a guy like that, like the drummer in the band, the guy who's like, he's got so many arms, busy all the time. He knows when everything's coming. He's so bored because he's so busy back there. He can do everything better than everybody, and he's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
That sounds about right, man.
Me, like I'm not. He's amazing. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want to say he's incredible, but it just reminds me of one of that situation where somebody's just firing on all pistons, and they got to be thinking faster than almost everybody around.
I agree, man. And I think anybody who's really nailing more than one discipline, and like yourself, I mean, there's so many of them out here too, man. It's crazy, dude. It's a crazy gathering of super talented people. And depending on how you look at it, you can say it's toys and then, form your own opinion about it, or see it as something a little bit more than that, which it is. And then really start to see that you guys are not just toy makers, man. You guys are some crazy artists that are doing some super, super cool things. What's next around the corner for you, man? What's in the media?
Well, I'm hoping that I can kind of rest easy for a little while. I put the pedal to the metal a couple months back to see what I could do, and I had very great luck. I'm super grateful. I got a bit to learn about pacing, but I'm gonna have to learn that next year because I've got this was a big one. And here we are underway, so I'm feeling good about this. But right after this is Miscast, which is done but needs to be photo docked and shipped. And then Shrek. And Shrek is just, right now, Shrek is just parts. So, we're still keeping the pedal to the metal until that's done. And some trades that I've been talking about with people that I really want to get done before Christmas. So.
Nice, man. Yeah, Shrek is right around the corner, dude. That is next week, dude. You are on the clock. You got 7 days, my friend.
Yeah, well, I know what to do.
Sweet.
And yeah. I know what I want to do, and in this case, like C is for Creature prepped me for Shrek really good because I set out with 2 in progress pieces and 2 fresh pieces, and I came up with 2 pieces, and I was like, that's great. I got a couple of sea creatures that I did not finish, but the ones that I did came out great, and I've got 2 pieces in mind for Shrek with a couple of different variations, and I'm feeling pretty good about getting it done, although it is another crazy couple of weeks to make sure that I do.
Yeah.
But what the heck, I'm on a roll. You got to go for it,
Oh God, that is
a thing that happened to me. After Wrestling Toy Federation, I was burnt out. I just arrived, and I had done Robot Resurrection, and that was like really exciting. And then Wrestling Toy Federation I'm going to take a break, and then somebody posted the first trash talking video, and I'm like, I'm not taking a break. And then GI Show came along, and I'm like, I'm taking a break. And I did not sign up. I promoted the show as if I was in it, and I rocked out to the show all night long on all the follow-ups. So it was like, next time shows come up, you're just going to do them because you're going to give them all your time anyway.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
I don't know. Maybe I'll come up with a better pace in the new year. I don't know. I'm just interested in doing more, and if there's an outlet, I just want to go. So.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it, man. I think one thing that really is tough, and I think that if you're doing online shows, I think this is a really good way to balance it out. But I think what really helps a lot of people in this community is that there is no time frame for a lot of things. But if you ever want to kind of hone your skills on trying to put yourself under the gun and putting yourself on a schedule, an online show is a great way to do it because there is a drop dead date where, hey, if you don't have it, you don't have it.
Yeah, well, it really what I liked about Robot Resurrection was the fire I felt doing it and the risks that I took in trying new stuff that paid off. And I'm like, oh, okay, I would be like, if I didn't have a show, I just making it a R&D, my R&D lineage would, my experience would tell me, maybe don't go for that. Just try this, just go with
Dude,
what
so
or finish this. And then I'm in, I come at the deadline and I'm like, this guy needs another arm. I have to have another arm for this character, and giving into that spark and pulling it off, like,
and let's I don't yeah, definitely. Well, and you know what? I don't think we should even kind of downplay, what you just said there, dude. Robot Resurrection was your first show. Now,
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, they would try to do something somewhat safe on a first show just to make sure they could really nail it. But for you, on your first show, not only was it your first show, but you started using cut molds instead of two-part molds. It was you were pulling with multicolors. You did some intrinsic coloring in the mold itself. What possessed you to just try all those new things on your first shot at a show? And they came out great.
Well, it was the community. It was my new peers, the work that they were doing. Was informing my work in the moment. I knew the character I was going to create, but I had so many pots out and so many molds out that I made some errors in pouring and came up with really nice colors. And I'm like, that's how those guys do that.
There you go.
Son of a gun. Okay.
That's a good question. The Pockets also says, what do you want to see more of in the community, or what's a discipline that he doesn't use that you'd like to learn? So besides the sculpting that you're trying to hone in, is there something that you're eyeing beyond that as far as, hey, I'd like to tackle that someday? Maybe today is not the right day to do it, but down the road, I'd like to start messing with fill in the blank.
Well, there's a couple of things. Like I'm terrible at airbrushing, and I've had a ridiculous uphill journey of always abandoning the airbrush, and I want to kind of focus on that and pick up where I left off. In retrospect, when I look at my airbrushing, I'm like, that it wasn't that bad. You just got yourself frustrated, and so I had to give it some time. So I'm looking forward to picking that up again and getting involved in that a little more. And I want to do more more precision casting. My molds are pretty I took a dive into cut molding. I have a lot to learn about it. I work out of my apartment, so I have a vacuum pump, so I degas my material before after I mix it, before I pour it, and then I bang my molds around and make big vents and big sprues because I can't use an air compressor in my apartment to run a pressure pot. So some of my pieces have more bubbles than others. So I'm not making perfect castings yet, and that's something I want to work towards. I recently found out about a maker lab in the neighborhood that has a really nice monthly rate. So maybe in the new year I can get into a little bit more of that. And then sculpting too has to get on there too. I want to do some more sculpting.
That's a full schedule, man. I don't doubt. I'm still kind of tripping that you just said you don't use a pressure pot. There's no pressure pot on this?
Nope.
Dude.
No. I can show you the difference. My I don't know if you can see it, but this is the Wrestling Toy Federation version. And if you look at there is a ton of bubbles all over this guy. He's like, his abdomen is full of bubbles, and
okay, I can see a little bit.
There's some knuckle stuff, and his back it's kind of hard to see it. There's his butt. You can see his bubble butt. And I was like, man, shoulders, there they are. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, what the heck happened? And I couldn't make another mold. I figured, well, if anyone buys one, I'll make a new mold. And I made a new mold, and for the drop after the show, when I decided to drop it, if you look here, there's barely anything in there. You're going to catch it. There's a knuckle right there. It's a little bubble and a fill right up in here.
Yeah.
But I added some lightning on the boots. I gave him a M for Muscle Creeps belt, and I eliminated the bubbles with pouring, fancy pouring technique.
Yeah.
I learned that from a guy named Robert Talone on YouTube. He's like been casting for his whole life. He made work for SpongeBob and Hamburger Toys and stuff like that.
Nice.
So he has a lot of he uses a pressure pot, but the premise of his show is you got an idea, you send me material costs, I'll do it, and we'll troubleshoot it and see if it's a good idea or not. So people will go, "Can you cast this thing?" And he'll do it, and if it goes well, he'll say it was hard like this and it was easy like this, and I watched him for a couple of years, and he encouraged, through what he had to share, to encourage me to move ahead, being faced with this expensive problem of not being able to use a pressure pot in my house, right? So I had to run a compressor in here, that's a whole different relationship with my neighborhood than if I don't.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, before we boot you out of here, man, is there anything else that you want to get out here, dude? We've done over an hour, man. That went by really freaking quick. I know, right?
Yeah. Well, I think we're good. I have a couple of guys I want to show off, though.
Yeah,
A few
absolutely.
things that I want to show off. Right now, here we have Flydell Castro, who is very simple hack of 2 toys, 3 cuts. A wonderful, wonderful thing that I really enjoyed making. And then I have an unnamed character, a similar character here, who's a bit of a kind of a sort of a.
Oh, I dig that one, dude.
He's an antelope with some dinosaur, and he's got a glow-in-the-dark skeleton head, and he has his own face on the other side too.
Oh, that's
I don't know what to call this guy, but this is sort of something I want to do a little bit more of when I'm hacking up parts for other toys, and you're going, that's not the part, that's not the part. For the toy you're working on, sometimes you look down at the pile, and you're like, oh, there's a whole other guy. And that's how these guys came out. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Those are great.
Thank you. Lots of fun.
Yeah. So, and now will those just stay kit bashes for you, or will you ever cast those? Is that something that you ever do? Do you ever make something up like that and then cast it?
Well, the nature of Tiger Corpse, Phantom Zero, Muscle Creeps, it's all kit bashes that are molded and cast. These guys is a little kind of I can see where I would like to make some castable characters, and I can see where it's inspiring to get into some deepen my molding skills to try to cast some of these things too. So probably down the road we try it, but for now it's kind of like something that comes out when I'm not project focused, or when I need a break, and I'm like, I'm gonna just go have some fun. Not that it's not fun, but it does become work very quickly when you set goals and deadlines, and you're working with materials in a time frame, that kind of thing. It's like I got 2.5 minute pop life on my 325. Okay, every mistake is $25.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I'm sure that's tough to have to go through that. I mean, like you said, it sounds like you're doing a lot of stuff where you're kind of doing trial and error on your own. like you said when you were talking about things like colors, and then but I think there is probably a downside to that too. What you just mentioned is, once you lose material, and there's always a cost associated with that. So that's a bummer. But seems like you're
Pardon me?
Oh, I was going to say, it looks like you're working through it. No problem. These pieces that we have here that we're about to give away, these are spectacular pieces, man. Dude, that was a great interview, dude. I think it got more and more interesting as we went along. I think we could probably easily do another hour if we didn't have so much stuff to get through tonight, man. But
I have like 63 toys ready to talk about for like an hour each. I had to do it. Like, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but to get ready, to calm down, to get ready for the show, I had to prep. So,
yeah,
it was a lot of fun. This is super cool.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for your time, man. That was super fun. Rokomashu, if you see anything on his thread that you'd like, hit him up in the DMs. That would be the best way to do that. If you're in Vancouver, definitely look for him. Look him up. Give him a follow. Best of luck to you in your upcoming projects, man. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'll definitely be hitting you up in the DMs now that I know that's how we get our hands on some of these things. But again, dude, best of luck to you. And thank you for being on, man. I super appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Super exciting. So fun. Ciao.
Thanks, buddy. What a freaking man, dude.
Sorry, man.
I shit you not, it kept getting better and better.
Well, it was comical when, okay, so let's be real. We all always, I personally always think like we're all cut from the same cloth and stuff like that. The moment they're dropping kind of just like the pierogies, and we're all sitting here drooling, being like, yeah, tell us about these pierogies. Dropping, then he's in a band and shit, rocking out. It's like, yeah, okay. I think we could all definitely get along with this chap. Every single thing they make is bigger than expected. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to be rude, but I felt like if I was also chiming in, it would add to the chaos. So I was trying really hard to just shush my boosh and rock those tabbies as required.
Do you know how many times I thought I was talking over you, but I was really talking over my own echo? That was like being in some sort of weird time warp, dude. But
I do get it though. It's difficult because I don't know when that's happening. I don't know if it's that their mic is picking up the YouTube, or if it's that they're, and anyways.
But dude, I mean, let's be real, man. Like when that dude first came on the scene, I was like, holy shit, this dude came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this can't be his first go around at making stuff. And then once you start to do some research, you start to figure it out. You're like, oh, it's not, but it's just actually what he's posting under.
So nonchalant. I was just going to say that, like, you even kind of caught it where it's like you almost have to be like paying attentive attention when you even catch things. Like, did you mention the CD? And at one point, they even kind of mentioned that they're very fond of their molds. Like those legs are kind of their design that they have kind of worked out. And then even just so nonchalantly when they mentioned like, well, if anybody bought one, then I'd make a mold. It's like, so I added the lightning bolts and I added the M1. And it's like, oh shit, yeah, you know what? Didn't even realize that you had gone back in and actually made adjustments to the sculpt.
Yeah,
remolding, like.
And that's just it, man. You know, it seems and it looks so simple, right? But then you start kind of diving into how he made them, and he's talking about cutting the face off the Ultraman and kind of using that as the helmet, and just going on and on, and then doing the vacuum mold.
So I did a slush cast of this. I've got
and then just casually drops in that there's no pressure pot being involved at all, and you're just like, hold on, man, wait, what the fuck is going on here, dude? Let me try to picture this in my head. And the thing is, dude, like he was very upfront with saying, like, what I'm trying to do with this line is copy this Mexican bootleg style, dude. That's not just making figures. That is nailing a style, a look, a pattern, a font, whatever you call it.
He had an artist statement or something.
I mean, it's doing stuff on so many fucking levels. Like, yeah, it's cool shit. Like the work's good, but it's so much more than that, dude. And like I said, the only guy that I can put in that category with someone who's doing that many different things as Eddie. And it's it's crazy, dude. Lynn's the Rap Boy collab coming up.
Well, okay, so this one here caught me, and I wanted to chime in so bad, but I was like, oh fuck, okay, I'll ask them later, and so I will bug them. But anybody who does cast, like, you'll get this too. Like the person they paint, and they had mentioned that they paint their figures, and yes, that like maybe that's paint, but I'm looking at this part being like, okay, but are you painting your molds and you're pouring it in, or are you casting the red in your molds? Like, because then I'm seeing the little bits of over, and I'm like, what the? Are you doing two separate pours, and you're just get like? So I'm trying to make sense of that as well, man. That was definitely something that was neat.
Yeah.
And yeah, Max Patron nailed it. It's cool that his daughter draws his card art at the moment. It's dope that she did the screen printing for his shirt. Who the fuck drops a toy in their first toy drop? They've got a fucking t-shirt.
A shirt and a trading card, dude. That's what I'm saying. The first figure was a 6-inch figure bagged with a t-shirt and a freaking card. You could buy stuff in separately, I think, but still, dude. And then Pocket Salsa says we're not going to mention that dope ass beard. Yeah, we are going to mention that dope ass beard. Dope ass beard. I mean, what can I say? When I first saw his post, you start going back through, and then you see him as a person, and you're just like, this is an interesting dude. This is a very interesting dude. And then, gosh, dude, he's just. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it, dude. I need to get some work from him, 100%, dude. There's quite a few things I need to get from him, honestly. But it's very cool, dude. I like that dude's style, man. What a chill ass dude.
Their scale is so large. Like those muscle creeps blew me away. Because let's be real, a muscle figure is a muscle figure. You kind of assume the moment I see that muscle in there, like not even thinking about the fact that it's for the wrestling show, just the fact that it was called a muscle figure. Yeah, my brain was picturing.
And this is that's next to the 6-inch. So it's I mean,
it's a beefer.
No pressure pop.
That's just how my tiny little smooth brain works, man. Same as earlier tonight when you showed off your has-been behind you, actually. I knew that your cowboy was massive, but seeing it beside your fucking Salacious Crumbs only made him look so much bigger. Yeah, that dude's fucking huge.
What a killer piece, man. We'll talk about that one in a little bit. But you're right, dude. That's a sick one. We should probably give away these Rokomashu pieces. But dude, that was a good one, man. That is a God, dude. We were talking about the freaking giveaway question this week, and I started thinking about what do I love about it and what first comes to mind. And the more that you think, it's like, yeah, well, it's that too, and it's that too. And meeting people and talking to people and finding out, what makes them tick, especially someone like that dude who is like, that dude is on a mission to spread the word, dude. That dude's taking his own time, going down to the barbershop, setting up a table, and just like, who wants some? Who wants to talk about this? Let's talk about it. I'm here for that. That's what I'm doing,
I do like that, man. At the end of the day, like that, it's funny, man. Everybody's so afraid. Like the ego gets in the way of so much, and people allow it to really stop them from doing certain things. And I think that's one of those ones that a lot of people would be like, I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to look silly. What if nobody actually wants to buy one? Like and they would let it stop them from doing it. And at the end of the day, what's funny is like we literally sit here interviewing, admiring, boosting up, talking about how dope it is for somebody to go and do something that we're all literally capable of doing. But that fucking ego can sometimes get in the way, man. That's why that whole like the hardest part is just doing it is so sick when like you just do it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Agree, man. Lynn's take it easy, my man. I didn't ask him about the hot dogs, but that's okay. Let's do the muscle creep first. This one is a bag muscle creep figure. It is close to probably 5 inches tall. It does come with trading cards of all the figures that are in the set. This one is Cookie Bananas. But yeah, separate heads there. Dope piece from Rokomashu. You will get this and some Toys Alive stickers as well. How many did we get in the giveaway tonight, my friend?
38. Or
38
this evening.
Not bad.
Pikmins, you can show them the flip.
All right. First up is the Muscle Creep. Now, this is from the WTF show. And if you saw, that was another thing that I thought was super impressive, man, where he had, he was like, hey, look, this first one came out and had some bubbles here and there. And then I kind of, sharpened it up a little bit. Next thing you know, bam. No, did you freeze real quick? That was weird. You're on mute.
Yeah, no, we both froze, and then I had no clue what was going on. So we're going to spin the wheel this week. Boom.
38.
That's going to be
number 17.
My Little Fluffle.
My Little Fluffle.
Ooh, ooh.
That is the better half of Plastic Vomit Customs. I am just going to get to that one real quick. Question this week was super easy. Name something you love about the scene. The toy scene community is the best. I love having a creative outlet where there are like-minded people that all appreciate each other's art. Yeah, kind of the theme that we've been talking about here recently, especially with Rokomashu, is congratulations, by the way, Nicole. You have won that. I will send it out your way. It's what we were talking about, man. It's just, I think that's a really, that's a very common one, I would say, right? Is that here we are. We all do. Sometimes this is the only thing that we have in common is this. But that being said, this is the gathering place for this. So there you go. Gong rats. Next on the list is the Phantom Zero from Rokomashu. This is the one that we were just talking about. This one is in that nice purple. It is about 6 inches all together. It's a beast of a figure. Bagged. That card art, very awesome. But there you go. The way he said he made that face too, dude. Did you catch that? I know you did. Where he said it was, I believe it was some sort of keychain or something like that. And then he just kept on doing it until it got kind of, bootleggy enough to throw it in there. That was cool.
I would actually say this episode because let's be real, I feel like a Dorcas because I'm not sitting there actually partaking in the conversation. I'm sitting there being like, all right, homie, then you better actually be on the fucking ball about paying attention to what the hell they're talking about. So you're making sure to pull up tab because otherwise I could be over here just freaking fapping to homie's beard.
Dude, it was great. You were on point with all that though, dude. It was just like, bam. Boom. That's how it works, dude. Told you a couple weeks ago, man. You're getting fucking real good at this. All right.
I don't know if it's both of us or if it's only you, but for a moment there, you sounded like a robot.
Oh, that's cool. Wonder how that could continue. Good luck to whoever is coming up for Phantom Zero. This is a dope figure from Rokomashu coming your way. And the 38 on the wheel minus Nicole from My Little Fluffle for winning that last one. 22. Who you got on 22? Ooh.
Hijack. The good old Hijack.
Hijack 85. That is perfect because I have a box for Hijack 85 ready to go out. I will open it back up and put this guy back in here. What was Hijack's answer there, my guy?
putting me right on the spot.
I know, dude. You know what? I was scrolling down.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. I do have that tab open, and I've got it. I'm just going to scroll for hijack here. All the answers were absolutely fantastic this week, man. A couple of them had me crying. A couple of them had me laughing.
I got it right here, man.
This community, the most welcoming, open art scene I've been a part of. So much love and support. And you know what? I would absolutely tend to agree with that. I think most of us have actually been a part of some sort of creative outlet at some point in our lives. And yet, considering how global this is, it's probably one of the most empathetic and supportive and welcoming ones ever. It doesn't like what I find comical, man, is I wouldn't imagine people in toys taking in so many different visual art mediums, like 2D art mediums as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was waiting for you to get rid of that the wheel screen there, so we could talk like gentlemen. The 2D stuff too is, I bet, you know what, in the Shrek show, I bet we'll see some of that too. I would think.
Let's be honest, that Shrek show has gone out of hand. It started as a joke. It has now become one of like probably the largest shows coming up. And just, yeah.
Dude, before we do these other ones, I think that we should probably talk about some of the answers to these questions that we talked about, dude. That was kind of the whole goal this week, was to kind of get people back in the spirit of why we're here. And I think a lot of these, man, I think resonated with a lot of people. What I thought was really cool is how many likes that some of these comments got. 15, 20 likes. And that to me shows that so many people that answered the question this week are on the same page about kind of why we're here and things that are important to them. How many did you say we had? 38? 38. That's a lot, man. I'm just going to go through and read a couple. And then if you want, I don't know if you want to read a couple, totally up to you, man. But, you know, the very first one, I believe it was Barrio Boba this week. I hate this thread on here, dude. Like the way it's laid out, it's so stupid. Just give it to me straight.
One of my favorites was Pocket Salsas. My favorite thing about this is Jazz Wizard. And there's a number of reasons why that was one of my favorites, man. Because one, Jazz Wizard, no offense, you're a nobody. You don't make toys, you little bitch. No, but anyways, Jazz Wizard, like all mean jokes aside, the dude came in here as like a collector. He hangs out all the time. He's probably one of the kindest people I've ever met in my entire life. He's a hell of a character, man. The fact that a toy maker is kind of making that joke, that even just goes to show like the relationships that have been formed in this scene, where you have somebody who is like not even close to them globally or geographically, and yet they can make this comment where they're like, Jazz Whiz. There's 7 replies on it of other homies chiming in about the fact that they ended up making that theirs, including LRH, who's over in the UK. You've got Yuckamuck chiming in on it, all about the fact that they're just kind of like talking about the fact that Jazz Wizzy, man. And I just find that really jokes, because as much as he's saying Jazz Wizard, in my opinion, that just goes to show like the camaraderie and the humor and the freaking like love and friendship that exists all through this thing that we all have about loving toys. That part kills me.
Agreed, man. Here's a really good one, dude, from Slightly Adrift. It says, hello, I've learned life lessons here that I can then in turn use in every other area of my life. I have learned support and friendship growing up. I don't know if I had tremendously positive examples of that. It's about showing up and showing love to the artist because we feel it and need to let me know how we feel it. It's something that can't be contained. The people here understand, and I can't say the people around me really do most of the time. Thank you guys for doing this show for us, and thanks for anyone reading. Appreciate you. I mean, 8-Bit Mike says the people and the creativity. Kajiki says, I love the amount of chicks I pick up. but I guess that's one of the major allures that makes us all want to become a man who creates toys alone in his spare room. Oh, man. Here's a great one from Strafe, dude. I love the growth of abilities and skill I've seen over the years. I remember just starting to figure it out and being able to focus on perfecting my craft. Cool to experience and watch happen. And dude, and that was a good one for me with Colin as well, man, with Has Been Toys, right? It's like you see him start off and make one thing, and then next thing you know, everybody is getting these pieces that, honestly, people were lining up to get, man. I remember this cowboy or the urban cowboy piece right here. Does everybody remember when these dropped? These dropped on Abe's Toys on Tap bootleg market on one of the very first ones. And if I remember correctly, I think Pocket Salsa was the first one to claim one. And then everybody's kind of like, oh shit, are we claiming these right now? And then boom, 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 done. They were gone just like that. You're right, dude. The growth is, Strafe. The growth is really good to see, man. Even for people that you think are kind of at the top of their game, it seems like there's always something new coming out where people are perfecting it. Rokomashu was a great example of that tonight as well. Just kind of realizing that, hey, this needs to be better. And then it sounds like, man, he's kind of doing research on his own. He had some really good influence in there, dude. He named, Musculoids. He named Cosmo Toys. Both of those guys have been around for, how many casts have those guys done between the two of them? Probably thousands and thousands. I don't know, dude. I think everybody knows the whole point of the giveaway this week, right? Let's not fucking beat around the bush, man. Like, it's been a fucking tough week for everybody. I'm not going to, dare touch fucking politics with a 10-foot pole on this fucking show. But the fact of the matter is this, man, is, we're all here for one reason, and that's to fucking celebrate these toys and these artists that do this every day. And we can have personal conversations about this or that, in DMs, or maybe not even on, IG as a platform. But remember this, man, remember that how we all felt about each other before this last week happened, right? No matter what's happened and what's gone on this last week, remember how it was before that, man. We were all here fucking having a great time. And I think we're going to go back to that, man. I think we're well on our way, because I've had personal conversations with, lots of people, right? Everybody that we're thinking of right now, right? All the main characters. I've talked to almost everybody, and everybody's on the same page as, man, let's just do what we do and make it about toys, and make it about spreading the word and expanding the scene and legitimizing what everybody's trying to do here, man. I think deep down, that's what everybody wants. People are passionate, dude. I get it, man. I love passion in any form. You really want something and it doesn't happen. It sucks, man. It really does, especially when there's so much more involved in that. But like I said, man, we are here for a reason and for a purpose. And shout out to everybody who is kind of come to that conclusion and saying, you know what, man, let's just fucking, everybody who's here tonight, man, is here for the same reason. I think is to try to push this thing forward and see where it goes. And I think we're still really just getting started. The thing is, man, in 4 years, when politicians are gone, in 8 years when politicians are gone, I said it before, we're all still going to be here. We're all still going to be friends. It would be a damn shame to let anybody, politician, policy, anything get in the way of our friendship or this show, or you guys as friends, man. I really value a lot of you guys in this room as friends of mine. As we get older in life, I think that our friends start to dwindle, man. And it comes down to, you have, a handful, then people move away, then people just become acquaintances and just kind of contacts in your phone. But, for myself, I'm 45, I'm going to be 46 in, just a few months here. And as you go on and you work at a job and you have, friends that are co-workers, and then you get into a situation like this where you have something that you're passionate about, and then you find other people that are passionate about it. It's a damn shame to ruin that on any level, man, because I think we are such a niche community. It's valuable to have these friendships, and it's valuable for people to survive. Honestly, man, we need an outlet to go to and a place to feel comfortable. And sometimes it's an escape. That's kind of how I got into this thing. Was in 2020. I wanted an escape from all the bullshit. And this is where I found it, and this is where I always come back to, where I can escape and just kind of get my sanity and talk to like-minded people about toys and the community. So that's about it on that, bro. That was a long rant on, I don't even know where we were going there, man. But shout out to everybody who responded to the question this week. I mean, there was a lot of honesty in there from a lot of people, and I think it hit home with a lot of people. And I think, it was good, man. It was good to just kind of sit back and look at and see and say, man, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's the vibe. That's the vibe, dude, is that we're all fucking glad to be here. That's it, my dog. What's next on the list?
Beautifully said, man. And oh my goodness, I don't even know at this point, man. I'm lost for words. Hey, Tape Fiend, what's going on, man? Glad you could join us. Yeah, man.
Next, you want a next giveaway, dude? How about that one? We got let's do this one, dude. King Spider has sent an entire run of that. Look at that figure. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Sick. On the back, social media, the Fifth Horseman. Sadat signature right there. This is number 4 out of 5. Check that out. Damn, that is good. How about that, dude? Nice, eh? Like my A? That was for you, you Canadian.
No, I was eyeballing that thing earlier. Actually, I had actually purposely gone in on my phone and zoomed right in on the post, trying to look at all the different shit that have been used in there. It's a sick as hell piece, man.
Yeah, the detail on the face is crazy good.
Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
Good luck to everybody. FKD, I snuck back in. Number 10.
Geese. That's gonna be a big old Jimmy Folklore.
Jimmy Folklore?
The old Jimmy Folky.
Jimmy Folks. That was the congrats, Jimmy. Jimmy kept the streak alive tonight. I saw he came in a little bit late, but he is here. That is going to be the King Spider.
Jimmy Folklore's answer, I think, is one we can all kind of resonate with. I enjoyed the hobby of collecting toys and toy making for years in solitude. It's nice to have people to connect with and who, like me, appreciate little pieces of plastic sitting on a shelf. For the record, I didn't actually properly put the commas in there. My articulation of their punctuation made it seem as if I was saying Jimmy Folklore likes the fact that people like them. They were saying people similar to them appreciate little pieces of plastic, although we do like you as well. You're a nice chap, my dude.
Jimmy is a great dude, man. He is a, he's up there. He's a,
that DKE piece they dropped was sick, man. I love the fact that if you've got one of their original releases of the actual hamburger one, those pieces actually end up working on the figure as well. That was fun.
Yeah, he's a character within the scene, dude. You know what I mean? Like he's an almanac of knowledge as far as toys goes. Holy smokes, dude! Anytime that we need to know something, I I would say 9 times out of 10, he's the first one to answer saying that he knows exactly what it is. And it's the most random shit that nobody knows. And he's just like, bam. I'll never forget, dude, that he has collected that whole entire Dragon Riders line, sold it, and recollected it. What an animal.
That's pumping in a G.
Last up for tonight. Look at this, dude. We are so right on time. Unless you had more after this.
Got a quick little rip of news, but whatever. We'll be fast about it.
Perfect. No, all good. Nah, we're straight. This last one, Poison Tech by my man, Ordinary Toys, out there delivering the goods in New Jersey. Awesome, man. This was a Toys Alive exclusive in the shop. It does have the removable blister here, custom backer, hand drawn, nice thick stock on that. We showed these in detail a couple weeks ago. Awesome setup right here. This is from Ordinary Toys. You're going to get some Ordinary Toys stickers and some Toys Alive stickers with this one as well. There is one of these left that I don't have in front of me, like an idiot. In the Toys Alive shop, $40 shipped in the United States. It's purple, it glows, it's dope. Honestly, can't really believe it's the last one in there that is still there. This is the one there. It looks purple, and you see the paint detail on there, but this actually glows, has like a blue glow on it. This one available, $40 shipped in the United States. That's in the Toys Alive shop in our bio. This one here is the one that is up for grabs tonight. Another fine example of a killer piece from Ordinary Toys. The man does not miss.
That's a filthy marble on that one.
Sick. 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 Oh, you were on mute.
I was just rambling to myself about getting the wheel tab up anyways.
Oh, that's cool. Good
All right.
luck, everybody. Poison Tech by Ordinary Toys is going to early one, number 3. Poison Tech.
Kajiki.
Kajiki. Great answer. That's one of them that I read. It's because all the chicks. That's why he does it, for the chicks. So there you go.
They did have 2 answers, though. They also had mentioned, I've come to love putting on these goofy little toy shows that pull artists together and give us all an excuse to interact and be excited for what's to come. Then you get to sit back and look at everyone's interpretation of the theme and see people's creativity and artistic ability shine through. And I would have to say that's absolutely a lovely thing, because let's be real, man. How many artists do we know, whether they've talked to us personally or they've said on a post that, or in an interview, the drive for them is a show. Part of what makes them end up showing up and really getting that kick in the butt is having the deadline of a show. So the fact there's individuals that take on that mantle of running shows, I don't think I'd have the guts to do it, to be honest with you. So it's dope to me when other folks end up doing it. And speaking of not being able to do it, actually, that was one thing I kind of wanted to bring up, and it's a bit of an odd one. But homies, please just remember that B and I are just humans as well. And as much as you love the energy that we emit when we come on here all the time, we are just people, and we are fallible. And if we ever let you down based on the perceptions that you have on us, it's really just the fact that we're just people too.
We are. That we are.
But
I was going to say something before that. God dang it. What was it?
Sorry, man.
No, hey, do not be sorry. I can't remember what I was going to say there. It was important, and I forgot what it was. Anyways, you had some news. What is the news?
This is happening right now.
Yes.
And actually, what part of reminded me of this was actually, if you guys haven't seen it yet, go over to Hurt Toys' page and see their kick-ass piece. That's one of the main artist pieces that I ended up seeing that I was absolutely blown away with. But Toy de Jour, Mike's Vintage Toys, St. Louis MO, Madison MI with the Meepletons, and also in Greenwood, 4-A-Day Toys. So in 5 different cities, they're actually going to be holding a different toy show where it's going to be the second official Voltron art show. Also, obviously, Decon is happening this weekend in Vegas. I don't know if anybody is kind of known about that, but obviously DesignerCon is happening in Vegas. Sorry.
By the way.
Because almost none of the posts that the news I have is going to be about DesignerCon. Only because if we were to try and cover every single person who is like, by the way, I've got some of these at booth 802.
Oh, man.
We would be here. It would have been the 2-hour show.
For sure.
Of course, I can't stop talking about the Shrek show because, as we mentioned, the amount of folks who are in this are insane. There's ones even looking at this right off the hop that I know I've never seen work from them for, so I'm going to have to make sure that I kind of take a little peek over there. But hot dang, man, this list is absolutely endless. What else we got going on over here? Yo, and I meant to bring this up actually last week. So this is some of like the little scraps of last week because I just find this entire journey is incredibly awesome. I love that of all people, fucking Steady Crafton, who many of you would actually say is probably somebody who you saw the YouTube videos of and ended up feeling inspired to make toys and or got your answers solved through this individual. Not only are they currently doing a collaboration where they did a bunch of the painting on a bunch of Shipman figures using vinyl Wonder paint, which, of course, if you guys don't know, Wonder vinyl is actually the Wonder Goblin paint that he ended up actually getting made now at like a factory level. And Shipman is actually a Safubi maker who has actually recently moved over to Tokyo, Japan as well. So the fact that Steady Crafton is spraying up these, has a bunch of their own Safubi that have arrived in. And if you haven't noticed, this week, actually, they're going to be doing a video or hopefully releasing a video that's going to be from start to finish of them going from sculpt to soft vinyl in a matter of weeks. Insane to me, man. And on this Safubi kick, obviously got to mention the fact that Shipman is obviously in the middle of dropping these little guys. So this is going to be November 22nd at Vinyl Tokyo. And of course, that leads over to this beautiful little collab going on between Toys on Tap and Pocket Salsa. Because I wanted to mention this actually last week. They had these guys going up on last Monday at 9 a.m. But already they're working on getting some painted versions of these guys going up. So if you are feeling feisty, you get your hands on them. These are just painted mock-ups from a good friend at the Pod Bootleg Toy Co. He'll be painting up a small run. And he showed me these. I fell in love. They're up in the shop now if you want to get your hands on them. Wow.
Yeah, those are sweet, dude. I'm actually going to meet up with Abe at the airport in Las Vegas. We're about an hour apart. And he is going to bring me one of those, one of the blue and white marble ones, I believe. Those were super cool. So I'll be snagging one of those. A little bit
because it reminds you of those old 80s beach balls?
Good point. Good point, dude. I just thought it was cool because it reminds me of water. You know, and I thought that was clever of them to do that. I don't know if that was the goal behind that one, but when I saw that run, I thought immediately. But you're right, dude. Some of those custom painted ones that are coming out, I'm just like, holy shit! I
don't know if you caught these bad boys that are dropping actually at noon tomorrow.
I sure did, man.
Dang it, my dude! What the hell, dude? And of course, Green Plastic Tunnels popped a couple of little goodies up in the shop.
Oh God, awesome! Those were so
cool.
But
with Christmas coming, I'm noticing more and more artists that are kind of boasting the fact that DMs are commissioned for a lot of folks, or commissions are open in the DMs for a lot of artists. And that's typically the case as well. No harm, no foul. A lot of these artists are generally nice. Bad Luck Jimmy's doing a big old fatty drop actually tomorrow as well. That's going to be, think of the time. Boom. I thought it was going to be at noon. 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 PDT at Deadbird Toys. These are going to be getting dropped. And, of course, you see these fucking sexy dudes?
Man.
Damn Joe's.
Yeah, dude. Those are dope, man. I want to snag one of those. Those are cool. Those are very cool.
Gosh, dang it. So simple, so great. Smart.
Exactly, dude. And you know what's funny is I would say that about the Bone Ghost figure in general, and then where it looks like it's simple. I mean, it's a great sculpt, right? It looks good in almost any scale that he has. But then you're right, dude. You throw something even simple like the hands on it, and now it's just like holy shit. You know what I mean? Sick, man.
Of course, the boy Shotgun Karaoke has a couple of droids right now. This guy here. And the thing that I thought was neat is right now, if you buy more than 2 droids from my page, get 20% off. So, of course, that's always a deal. Can we talk about this fucking thing for a moment?
Dude. I saw that. I'm just like, you maniac, dude. Like, I know he's doing a whole line of these, but it's like, I mean, where do you start? It's just like it's the ones that I showed on the show a couple weeks ago, man, where you start to really look at it and you're just like, damn the soft goods, damn the paint, damn. I mean, it's everything. It's everything. That's crazy, dude. Have you ever seen anything like that before? I have not, personally. Awesome, dude.
It's just gorgeous, man. And like you end up reading through. Like I do love the fact that they even kind of mention like 100% handmade, cast painted, sculpted, fully articulated, all 4 arms, head, waist, and rubber bands, legs. 5 point. It's like holy fuck, those stupid little ringlets here. Like, and I mean that in the best way. The whip, this freaking necklace part, man. Like, oh my god.
And it's going to be a complete package too, right? Like the backer is going to be dope. The bubble's going to be dope. It's always like top shelf packaging as well.
That's kind of it, man. Like how, like, and then I already thought that was nuts. And it's just one of those things where then all of a sudden for them to drop this, you're just like, when does it end? Like, what the fuck, man? This is madness.
You know what's funny, dude? Isn't there some accounts like that, like, Jevaho and Healy, and like you start scrolling back and you're just like, there's so much dope stuff, and you're like, it just keeps going. It just keeps going, and then you go all the way back to the end and you're like, shit, it started out dope. And then you just keep, it's crazy, man. I mean, that's a beauty. That is a beauty, man.
I just, when I was going through like the saves and likes today to pull up the tabbies, I was like, I gotta pull, like, how do I not bring that up? Tape Fiend, this is actually going to be Jevaho Creations.
Yeah. Also, Tape Fiend is futuristic magazine. My dude, I did get your box today, and it is some magazines that are headed out to Finland for Shotgun Karaoke. Those guys out there are going to get a healthy dose of that magazine and spread the word out to our peeps in Finland, man. How cool is that? Nice. Sweet. Yeah, Jevaho is that guy. I mean, his 5.5 game. And you know what, dude? Actually, he's kind of all over the place. He does other stuff too, but his 5.5 stuff is just it's top of the charts. Yeah, absolutely, man. No problem, dude. Go ahead, stuff going to Finland. That is few and far between. So, anytime that we can try to cut down on the shipping and packages that need to go there, because I know those guys have to pay to pick those things up. So, what a pain in the ass that would be.
Sorry, dude. I could feel like the rocks in my skull just fucking being ground together, trying to put together the. So, for anybody who's also missing it, of course, Tape Fiend is going to be the future retrosto. I'm not even going to try. But that's also the original Cash brand on IG. If you guys remember when B to the J ended up getting their parcel, and we ended up pulling up the page real quick, that's going to be the original Cash brand on Instagram as well, if you'd wanted to go and grab that. Want to just make sure that...
Good point.
Skipping point, sorry.
Great point, dude.
Did your 2 stones end up putting together that little bit of flame that you were trying to remember?
No, absolutely not.
You've got a hell of a couple days ahead of you, man. You're going over to Decon, and then you had actually mentioned something else. I don't know if you want to talk about it on here, but you've got quite the like big thing. When the hell's Thanksgiving for you guys too? That's coming up.
So yeah, coming up, dude. I mean, I got okay. So first of all, let's start with the Mike Tyson fight tomorrow night. That is, I hate boxing. I am not a combat sports fan in general.
That's with that blonde-haired fella, right?
That's correct. And I think
Okay,
I
I've
just
seen
want
a
to,
couple of the memes for it lately.
yeah, I just want to see him get knocked out. I mean, that's really the gist of it, right? I mean, I think kind of everybody wants to feel that way. Um, you know, when I was a kid, dude, I loved Mike Tyson. I just thought he was, probably the baddest dude on the planet at the time. And from what I've seen, dude, it looks like he's still up there. That dude is a straight up maniac. That dude he's an assassin. So we'll see. The other part of it is though, it's got there's a bunch of Hollywood out there too. So who fucking knows what's gonna happen, dude? I'm gonna be pissed at the end of the night. I'm sure of it. But yeah, dude, 3:00 in the morning, headed to the airport on Saturday. Headed out to Designer Con. That's gonna be a full day. That's going to be a no sleep, no room purchased, all day Designer Con, walk through, hang out, whatever, leaving Vegas 5 a.m. the next morning. My mother and my stepfather are coming out on Wednesday of next week for the holidays. And then we have Thanksgiving after that. So yeah, dude, it's that time of year, man, where it just gets busier and busier. Thank God the weather's nice, man. It's just nice and chilly out here. It's very, very nice.
We were getting fucking freezing rain earlier today. Don't even talk to me about the fucking weather.
Freezing rain? Oh, that sounds miserable.
Do you get that out there? You get snow, right?
You know what, dude? I'm close to the snow. I live at the base of some of these hills, and some of them are just high enough to where if it gets really cold, I can see it over there. Now, if I drive an hour north, an hour and a half, I'll be close to Lake Tahoe, and that's where you're talking some real fucking snow. But you guys are out there, man. I mean, are you just buried in it right now, or what?
No, not yet. No. But I'm sure I've sent you. I'm sure I've sent you videos before of like a couple like last year, the year before, where I show you basically like out the balcony will just be white fucking. Don't see anything besides just white for the next. Anyways.
Yeah. It's that God, dude. I mean, just getting around, I think would be a total pain in the ass.
That's the thing. Even back home, everybody kind of makes fun being like, "Oh, Toronto got 6 inches of snow," and everybody's complaining. And it's like we have nowhere to put it. It's great for all of you hicks that have fucking big giant farms and parking lots, but like we don't have anywhere to put it. Everything's a skyscraper. It's just concrete buildings everywhere. Where the fuck do it? 6 inches of snow across 4 lanes of traffic all the way across Toronto? Yeah, it adds up, man.
Miserable, dude. That's tough, man. That's one thing that I do not experience where I live. That's for sure, dude. I mean, we have extremes, mostly with heat, but when it comes to that, I mean, we get some rain, it'll rain pretty hard. So inconvenient. I got to wipe my feet extra on the doormat when I walk in my house. Miserable.
Right. Dude, we've held these yahoos long enough. It was a fucking fantastic night listening to fucking. I'm not gonna try Rokomashu because I've found out now that I say it in the Canadian way, and I don't know if I can actually nail down the American way yet. I'm gonna have to rewatch this a couple times and really fucking phonetically.
But what's funny is it's a mashup of those other words, and so
knock-off mashup. Yeah.
However you want to say it is probably correct because it's not.
I'll say his Christian name always. Yeah. Rip off, knock off, mashup every time. In full.
You could do that. But yeah, what a great artist, dude. Exciting that people like that are still coming on the scene. And what's funny is it's like he's known about it for a while, and so as mixed up as it seems, right? It's not that mixed up. Isn't
it like, always like 10 to 8 years? All these dudes who apparently have been doing it for a while, it's always around that 8 to 10 years mark. I wonder if Facebook had the same fucking cusp for them, that weird like spike that we had on Instagram. And I wonder if they had that same spike on Facebook, but 8-10 years ago. Because 8-Bit Mike said the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was going through his post and I was reading about some of the people that he was talking to back in like 16, 17, I guess I hadn't scrolled back far enough on those artist page to know that they were around that long ago, but it's it's cool, man. Like I said, it's exciting to see that people out there are that talented and still have, and are still very interested in the scene. And what's, I think, the best thing about him, dude, is that he is absolutely an advocate for the scene and wants to spread that message, no matter what the cost, no matter what the time dedication is to it. It seems like he's super down for it. And I think that's what it takes, man, to keep it going,
You want to talk about an advocate for the scene? I chuckled to myself today that the poor dude probably shared stories about tonight's episode and advertised for tonight's episode harder and more frequently than we did. I was like, damn, we're such flop dicks. When I saw that, like, today he posted 2 stories about how he was going to be on tonight, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, no, I agree, dude. He was going hard. You know what I mean? And I think that, as much attention as you can drum up, it just extends that reach. I don't like to get into, Instagram terms and blah, 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 but that reach is important, when you're trying to bring in new people. How you do that shit, I don't know. Consistency, I know, is never hurts.
What's funny, man, is they were putting up signs, and you never know who you're going to reach with things. I brought into the pot shop that I work at, I brought a couple of the stickers for Toys Alive, put them on the back work table, thinking if anybody wants to grab this, then they can grab one and put them on their laptop, because of course for some reason people are always like, got new stickers. And somebody mentioning, they were like, yeah, I brought it into my work, and I ended up actually giving a couple to my coworkers. And then my manager at this place that I work outside of here was asking me about this toy thing, and apparently he ended up going and checking out the Toys Live page and thought it was really cool that you guys would make toys, and started asking me all, and you're like, what the fuck? It's the ripples, dude. You never know. It's the ripple effect. Anyways, we could talk for a bajillion years. Let's let these fucking people go home. It's 9.
Keep an eye out for the post tomorrow or Saturday, possibly, for a time on what time that live will be coming in. Next week, the Shrek show. That is going to be a big one. If we can get that done in 2 hours, I'll be blown away. But make sure you guys tune in for all the release information. I know that Cave Dweller and Kajiki are going to have some events going on before our show next week. So make sure you tune into that. I would think that probably 80% of the people that are in this room right now are probably in that show. Congratulations. Get to work. I'm sure you have some to do. That's it.